What Americans are they polling? Welcome back to Wine and Chill. I'm Stephanie, your favorite recovering lawyer, and once a month, every month, I discuss how much progress, or lack of progress, I'm making towards paying off my six-figure student loans. So, this is March's video, and we're in the beginning of April. So, shout out to all the Aries. Happy birthday. It's Aries season. And yeah, I went and celebrated my birthday. So, this video's a little late for what it's worth. So, let's get into it. So our agenda is going to be what I paid in February. It's always retroactive, so had this come out in the correct month, which was March, it would have been the month before. So what I paid in February, we're going to talk about the current housing crisis for a second. Why the rent? And if you are so fortunate enough to be able to afford a home, buying a home, both so freaking expensive. We're going to discuss that a little bit, and some current proposed legislation that will hopefully help. And then last but not least, the SAVE plan that the majority of us have switched over to if you are paying off federal student loans. The SAVE plan is under attack again with a new lawsuit. Deep sigh. All right, so let's get into what I paid in February. So in February, apparently, I paid $1,000, and that is because I decided to invest, not in my education and paying it back, to use usually the money that I paid for myself towards one of my siblings so that way they could get SAT prep. Yes, being the oldest sibling is, a blessing that comes with lots of responsibility. So that's where that went. So $1,000 for me. And also, I bring this up to say, I have learned so much because two of my siblings are in the process of doing their college applications. Whew. SAT prep, something if you want to, get that for your kids, for your siblings, etc. I didn't have it when I was doing the SAT application. I wanted to make sure that was something that my siblings could have access to. It is expensive. So I highly recommend saving up for that. I was a little taken off guard by, the price tag, to be honest, because most public schools don't teach any SAT prep. So yeah, that's something that I think if you're going to require the kids to do it, that should maybe be in the curriculum for what it's worth. A lot of schools are now saying that they don't require SAT. However, it doesn't hurt to have it. Actually, for all the schools that saying they don't require it, everyone is still taking it. So I don't know what the purpose of them saying they don't require it, because you still need a decent enough grade. Particularly if you want scholarship money, they want to see that SAT score. So lessons learned. Also, shout out to my baby brother who got into the University of Michigan. I'm so proud of him. I think my videos are a little boring to my siblings, but in the off chance that they're watching this, I'm really proud of you. All right, so with that, my starting balance for my student loans after $75,000 of predatory interest when I started to pay them back February 14th, 2020 was $304,680.17 trifling cents. Deep sigh. Bringing my remainder after we're at 4 years of repayment to $149,773.97 trifling cents after 4 years of repayment. For what it's worth, when I was in corporate, I was making payments anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 a month, a few $10,000. Being a full-time content creator, the money ebbs and flows. So my goal is to get back to those really large payments. And I think this year, I have a few big things in the works. I think we might see it in a couple months. So fingers crossed for that. My estimated total paid over 4 years, in case you were curious, and this is your first time watching the series, is $166,294.63 hard-earned mother effing pennies out of my pocket that I have given to Sally Mae, to FedLoan, to Advantage, to SoFi via Mohila. Yeah, Lord. And here we are, which is a good segue into where else the rest of my money usually goes. Usually the biggest amount for most people's budgets these days, unfortunately, is housing. The cost of housing has run away for many of us. I live in New York. This year, my 10th year anniversary of being in New York as an adult. Born here, grew up in Miami. And you know what? Shout out for a rent-stabilized apartment. It's still a cute, pretty penny. And these new apartments, please. Ridiculous. The prices have run away from us, and that's largely due to a self-manufactured housing crisis. So, one of the reasons home prices and rents have skyrocketed across the US is because Wall Street, again, a la 2008, 2009, has decided to buy up the housing market and become our corporate landlord. Yeah. Interesting. So Wall Street, if you have been fortunate enough to be able to be in a position of trying to buy a home, you may have noticed that you are literally bidding against Wall Street hedge funds, which, what do they need a single family home for? They don't. It's a mess. So as of March of 2023, last year, hedge funds accounted for 27% of all single family home purchases in the United States. So on the positive end of that, because I'm always trying to keep track of the current legislation that is impacting our life, aka the majority of it, there has been a recent bill introduced into Congress to ban hedge funds from buying and owning single family homes in the United States. It would require that these funds sell off all the single-family homes they own over a 10-year period and would eventually bar them from owning any single-family homes at all. This bill was introduced by the Democrats and those of more progressive mindsets. I have axe to grind about them keeping silent on other pressing matters as well. But for this is good. Why 10 years phase out? I think the phase out should be 2 years because it's ridiculous. But at the very minimum, some progress seems to be being made by the people whose salary we are literally paying with our taxpayer money. So I think it's always super important to keep track of what legislation is being proposed to harm or hurt us by which members of said legislative branch, and when you know it is going awry, to make sure said members who are doing harmful things cease to keep their job. Which brings me to the fools that have decided they want to sue against the SAVE plan. Deep sigh. We're going to state politics now. So some of the same states that sued to end student loan cancellation, which would have given people under a certain income threshold up to $20,000 of student loan forgiveness, which was canceled last year, are now suing, saying the SAVE plan is going too far. I have many qualms with the SAVE plan. I've said this numerous times. One of the positives of the SAVE plan is the SAVE plan stops the interest from continuing to accrue after a certain point. We've gone to the specifics of it numerous times. It has honestly helped a lot. It is also helping people who have unfortunately been in repayment for over 10 years, that their principal balance was $12,000. That has been forgiven. The attorney generals from Alabama, Alaska, Idaho, Louisiana, Montana, Nebraska, South Carolina, Texas, and Utah, and Missouri have decided they're having none of it. They are suing, saying that we don't deserve the SAVE plan, that Americans do not want the SAVE plan. What Americans are they polling? Are the Americans that don't want people to be on the SAVE plan, are they in the room with us? Are they in existence? Questions that need answers. Specifically, one of the attorney generals stated, between our two coalitions of states, we will get this matter in front of a judge more quickly to deliver a win for the American people. It's the American people that have been indebted by the American education system because the cost of education is so predatorily high. How is that a win for us to continue to have $75,000 of predatory interest? AKA money I did not blood clot borrow. People like this raise other people's blood pressures for no reason. When polled, the majority of Americans are in favor of student loan cancellation. Also, the SAVE plan, again, is not ad hoc student loan cancellation. The SAVE plan, the entire purpose of it is to limit the interest from accruing. Interest is not money you borrow. It is money that corporations get for simply lending you the money to go get an education. We should want to grow up in a society and grow old in a society that offers education to everybody. The more educated people are, the more likely people are to fight for their constitutional rights. The more likely they are to care about their neighbor and fight for the rights of their neighbors as well, both here and abroad. The more educated you are, the more likely you are to ascertain when you are being screwed. So that way you can push back. Education is a wonderful thing, and anybody trying to criminalize it or to make it obnoxiously expensive deserves to be questioned. So, with that, this was very quick. We got through all our things. April will be on time and we're getting back to schedule. How is your student loan payoff journey going? I always like to ask at the end, and there's always a few people who have paid their student loans off, so congrats to y'all, or who have gotten public student loan forgiveness and have gotten their student loans forgiven, or maybe you got your student loans forgiven through the SAVE plan, which was about 100,000 people got their student loans forgiven through the SAVE plan in the past month. So shout out to all of y'all. I know that weight lifted off must feel great, and I can't wait to get there. So on that note, I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.